art supplies that students will be needing for quarter 3 and quarter 4. So the following is a guide to the art supplies needed for the next 2 quarters. Students and families, the following is a guide to the art supplies needed for art students for the next 2 quarters. All students, both launch ed and face-to-face, should have these supplies available for them to use to successfully complete the assignments for the next 2 quarters. Face-to-face students can leave the supplies at home. I will be providing them for in-class use. Supplies should be kept at home in case we ever have to pivot to launch ed. So again, this is for both students, both launch ed and face-to-face students, but I'm also asking my face-to-face students to purchase these supplies in case we ever have to pivot to launch ed and work from home for an extended period of time. So the supplies that we had in quarter 1 are the ones that we've been using up until this point. So those include markers, color pencils, a regular pencil, art paper, rulers, erasers, ink pens, Sharpies, and a sharpener. I know that some students have went ahead and purchased additional supplies, which might include alcohol markers or various types of ink pens, and that's awesome. Thank you so much for taking that extra time to buying those extra supplies. They really do make a difference. So if you feel like you need a variety of types of colored pencils or a variety of points of markers like fine point or bold, go ahead and try them out. I would like for you to experiment different types of supplies. But you will be needing these supplies for the rest of the year, so if they're kind of running out or if you need to replace them, I would go ahead and do so. So the supplies that you'll be needing for this next 2 quarters will include paint, and I'm asking my students to purchase a watercolor set. Now there are plenty of different types of watercolor sets. I will let you know that the watercolor sets that we use in my classroom are Crayola, so the ones that you see on the screen right now are the ones that we use, but I also have a set that looks like this that was purchased on Amazon, and I have those for my in-class students as well. This particular set was $10 at the time, but these sets right here, the watercolor sets, are relatively cheap and can be purchased anywhere, even at Walgreens. So any sort of watercolor set, as long as it has the spectrum of color, that would be ideal for these next 2 quarters. The next thing that I suggest purchasing is a paintbrush. I know that some of the watercolor sets, like the Crayola set, comes with a paintbrush, but that paintbrush isn't the best quality for the type of work that we're going to be doing. So I suggest that you purchase or look for a brush set, or even 1 or 2 brushes. You don't even need a whole set. I know that students are kind of exploring and figuring out what kind of supplies they need. If you are going to buy a set, I suggest buying a set that has some square edge brushes and some pointy brushes, and they can be synthetic or natural hair. Natural hair brushes look like this, and synthetic brushes look like this. If you're able to actually touch them when you're in a store, you'll be able to tell the difference. But main thing is that students will at least need 1 or 2 brushes for this next quarter. Students will also be needing watercolor paper. We will be painting, and the best type of paper to paint on is watercolor paper. So this screen shows you a variety of different types of watercolor paper. As long as it says watercolor paper, it's good to go. You don't need to purchase a specific brand. I know that the Smithmore brand and this brand right here are easily accessible in places like Walmart. I've seen this brand here at Walmart and at Walgreens, and I've seen this brand at the dollar store as well. So if that's something that you would like to go ahead and explore, you're more than welcome to. And the size also would be kind of like the art paper that we've been using all year, 9 by 12 or any regular paper size. It doesn't need to be any bigger. And so a watercolor paper pad would be very useful for this year. Also this year, students are going to be working with oil pastels. So a set of oil pastels would be great. The reason why I'm showing the Crayola brand oil pastels is because this is the one that we're using in the classroom. So the set that I have for students is a 16 set, and those are the ones that we have as a class set. But I've also seen the 28 set, which of course has a more variety of colors. And I also have seen this particular set, which provides like a more higher quality oil pastel. But again, the Crayola set is perfectly fine. As long as you have a good spectrum of color and it's at least the Crayola set, that's totally fine. If you see another oil pastel set that might be on sale, that is not Crayola, that is also acceptable. And lastly, I wanted to just thank you so much for your continued support. These supplies will be needed again for the next quarter and next 2 quarters actually. And you don't need to purchase these like right now or anything. You can purchase them at least by the second or third week of this current quarter, which is the third quarter. So maybe the second or third week of January. We will be using watercolor first. So if you're only able to get just a few supplies, maybe the watercolor paper, a watercolor set, and a brush would be the best thing. If you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to me. You can email me at the email that is on your screen, or you can reach out to me in Dojo. If you need any additional assistance, you're more than welcome to reach out to me anyway. But if you need any assistance with supplies or have any questions, please make sure that you reach out to me as soon as possible. Thank you so much.